Thank you for tuning in to the MD Arsenal podcast. We are live on Facebook and YouTube from 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern Time every Tuesday morning. Please tune in now to ask questions and interact with us live. Hosted by Mike, Caroline, and Dudley, and brought to you by MD Arsenal, located at 19828 National Pike in Hagerstown, Maryland, your premier firearms retail store, indoor shooting range, and trading facility. Maryland Arsenal is your newest premier gun range. Located conveniently off I-70 in Hagerstown, Maryland, with a 7-lane, state-of-the-art, fully automated targeting system.
Definitely not
Right there, bullseye. Offering retail firearms, hunting, tactical gear, and more. Our 40-student training center will be offering classes and certifications. Contact us today, info@mdarsenal.com, or visit us on the web at mdarsenal.com. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Man, it's awesome to be here again this week with Caroline. My name is Michael Faith. I'm the general manager for MD Arsenal. This is, I guess, we kind of had I guess, I don't know if you called it abbreviated podcast last week, all the insanity for our grand opening week, but we're now here in the studio for the second time. So MD Arsenal, 19828 National Pike in Hagerstown, Maryland, indoor shooting range, gun store, training facility. That's what we do. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself in case everybody's forgotten or something?
Well, let's slow it down a little bit. We got like a whole hour.
I talk fast.
Jeez. I was like, dang. If we're doing the the captions on the bottom of the screen,
they'll never keep up.
They'll never make any sense.
So
let's say that again. What's the address?
It's 19828 National Pike, Hagerstown, Maryland. Okay, so if you're coming off I-70, it's exit 32A. We're the first building on the left-hand side. So it's really easy to find if you're traveling. So just a quick story. This is kind of funny. So I'm pretty active in my church, and in my church, we kind of take turns speaking, like I guess you would say giving the sermon. And we have a couple of hearing impaired folks in the congregation, so we have a sign language interpreter, which is awesome.
Do you know sign language?
I don't.
No. Okay.
I mean, I'm hearing impaired, but I wear hearing aids and I'm fine. But we have people who are actually deaf, so we have a sign language interpreter. We've had a few, and so I'll be up there giving my talk at church, and I'll look down at the sign language interpreter, and she's just furiously trying to keep up. And so after I give my talk, she's got to go out and take a shower, and
I'm sure,
and recuperate. But So, I've had people hand me notes on the podium and say, slow down. So I understand I got to slow down a little bit, but it's just take it down a notch.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we got a lot to talk about, but we can take our time with it here.
Right. All right.
So I'm Caroline Hutchison. I'm the owner of Medina Media Productions. I help Maryland Arsenal with their marketing and kind of put together this podcast idea, if you will, with working with Venue Media here in Hagerstown. I love making videos and doing social media stuff, and working with you guys has been really fun. We've grown our following, so thanks everybody for following and liking our page and commenting and interacting. I mean, we're happy to share information with you. Feel free to ask questions on here. Feel free to ask questions on social media. Message us on Facebook. We've got an Instagram account. We also have our YouTube channel, so subscribe there. We're trying, to team up with people. We'd love to have some social influencers. I'm sure if anybody's, looking for some new networking opportunities, we can come on the podcast and talk about, firearms and keep growing this. I think this is great.
Well, I think you're selling yourself short a little bit. You're not helping us with our marketing. You are our marketing. Okay. So.
Well, Stephanie and I.
Well,
Stephanie is amazing.
Medina.
She's my
Medina,
partner.
We'll give the credit to
Media.
Medina Media. Okay.
Right.
So.
And you and I worked together in the past, and I think we worked together well in the past. And it's really exciting to work with you again. You're a good guy. I like working with you. You do what you say, and you say what you're doing, and it's not a mystery, and I like that. It's easy.
Good. That's
it's straightforward. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So here we are.
Well, so let's talk a little bit about the first week, 'cause it was insanity. It was total insanity. So
we're still alive though. Look at
I know
you.
we survived. So.
You don't even look that much older, man. Just a little bit more gray. Not
Well,
a
I
whole
mean,
lot.
I was gray when it started, so I can't even blame Dudley for that. But no, we had a great first week. You know,
We're looking for a sponsor just for men.
we we had a great first week, and listen, everyone knows that, and I got to quit saying listen every time I start a sentence.
How you listen? Like listen
So
to me,
like
Linda.
I'm talking
Like that
I'm
video.
shaking my finger at the
Little
audience.
boy, listen to me, Linda.
But the first So the first week at MD Arsenal was pretty hectic. The industry is I've never seen anything like it. Okay,
It's
so I've been doing
crazy.
this for a long time, and you know, back about a year ago when COVID struck and we started having a lot of things happening, you know, there were some protests, people were getting, you know, locked home or shut down, whatever,
The
working
pandemic.
from home. It was a major adjustment for our culture, for our society, and that's really sparked a lot of interest in gun sales. Okay, so people are buying guns and ammunition at record levels. Now, you know, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, but you know, last year we added about 8 million new gun owners to the market. So that's
crazy.
terrific. Now, those
Yeah.
were people that didn't own a gun before, right? So they are brand new. And so I hear a lot of talk on the internet and social media about, well, the government's trying to buy all the ammo and they don't want you to do this. And if they can restrict the ammo, they don't need to enact gun control. And I don't really have much to say about that. But I
Yeah.
do know for a fact that demand, in my mind, it boils down to straight economics. Demand is far outstripping supply right now.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, when you look at the industry, you know, the first 3 years of the Trump administration in the industry, it was referred to as the Trump slump because, you know, listen, unfortunately, the decision-making process of buying a firearm is really emotional. It can
Yeah.
be very polarizing, and typically, when you have, you know, a Democrat in the White House, it drives gun sales. It doesn't even matter what they do as far as gun policy. I mean, it does matter, but just the idea that they've got a D beside their name drives
Because of
gun
potential
sales.
for the infringement on our rights.
Exactly, and I'm not saying that Republicans aren't infringers.
Right.
Okay, that's a whole different
No,
podcast.
it's not. It's
right? So, you get a Republican in the White House, people tend to be a little more secure and not concerned. So the first 3 years of the Trump administration, the gun sales were down. Right, we didn't sell. The industry was just kind of treading water, and then so what happened was you had a lot of inventory piling up. Okay, so when COVID finally struck in the last year of the Trump administration, there was a huge supply,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the only reason this is going on as long as it has. I mean, usually it goes on for about 2 or 3 months. I think during the Obama administration, we had a rush on things that lasted for a few months, recovered pretty quickly. But this is going on longer because it went on so long because there was such a supply. So there was plenty of stuff to be sold and
Yeah.
bought for months and months and months. And now we're finally at the point where everything's gone. And so now,
So
you know,
we're like, let's open a store.
Right, exactly. So we pick this time in history to open a gun store.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just awesome. It's just so awesome. Now, what I will say to folks and customers is that I don't have a lot of inventory right now, and
yeah.
that's an ongoing process. That's going to be a battle all year, but I will get things to sell. Right now, you know, we probably, and to be perfectly candid with you and with the audience, we probably weren't entirely ready to be open. But we had so many people reaching out to us that they wanted to use the range. That,
Yeah,
hey,
people
can I
keep
come
coming in to use the range. Why
take
not
a
open
class?
it? Yeah.
Take a class. You know, so Dudley and I just decided, you know, we're going to go open the doors and we're going to take our chances. So the first week was exceptional. The outpouring of people, I'm so glad you're back. I'm so glad I used to shoot here before. I'm so glad you're back. And what I found interesting is I spoke with customers when they came in, you know, that had never been in that facility before, even when it was open before. They drove by and never stopped, and now they're stopping. So that's terrific. So you get some of the credit for that, some of it, okay?
Well, thanks. I mean, I feel like very confident that, you know, we did the right thing by opening when we did. Not because we should have waited to have more inventory. It would have been great to have more inventory.
Oh, it would have been great.
Nobody's saying that that's not possibly, you know, a bad thing.
Right.
It definitely stinks. But,
Right.
you know, there's a range there. There's a facility available,
Right.
and there's people that want to use it. And, you know, people are looking for stuff to do right now that they can do, like to
Right.
get out of the house and do stuff. Because so
Right.
many things have been, you know, slowed down.
Well,
so,
and I'll tell you the other thing too is that we have, our staff is really good and they are committed. They are gun people. They are committed. So, you know, whenever I was approached by Dudley to come and come be the general manager, I had to think long and hard about that because I knew what that meant. Right?
Yeah.
I know what it means. That means that we have a facility that's been closed for a year and a half. It has to be open back up. We have to reestablish that connection with our clientele and our customers. It's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of hard work, right? And I know it probably means working 7 days a week for a few months until everything is up and running.
It's a game changer for you personally.
But when I met with him, we had lunch one day for a couple hours, and I was in the facility a few times. We were talking, and he sent me an offer letter, and I hadn't signed the offer letter. And so finally, he's like, Mike, sign the offer letter. I'm like, all right. So I think about it, and then I came in there one day, and he says, well, let's shoot. And so he opens up his gun case. He's got like 30 pistols in there. So then I thought, this is a gun guy. So then I started to understand who he was, and that's why I made the commitment to come back and come to work for Mr. Dudley, because this is not some investment banker or somebody who's just doing this as a hobby. This is who he is. So I'm really excited about that because that's going to make a difference. That's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah,
so
for sure. We got a few people asking questions here. Well, people just saying that they love you, Michael. Basically, you're so knowledgeable in firearms. Thanks, Joe, for talking about Joe Biden's sign language interpreter, like that comment.
And let me just, while you're looking at those, let me just tell you another quick story, which is kind of funny.
I wanted to hear about the prices too for the range.
Okay, so let's go over that first.
Okay, real quick.
So we don't at MD Arsenal, we're not charging people monthly fees. We're not going to charge you by the hour. Okay, so essentially how we do it is this: it's based on how often you're going to shoot. So if you're going to shoot once a month or more, you're a frequent shooter. For an individual, the most economical way to do it would be to buy a 1-year pass. It's $300 for an individual. You can shoot every day we're open, 7 days a week, okay, with no additional range fees. Most people are casual shooters, I would say, or they don't have time to shoot as often as they like, and certainly right now with ammunition being hard to get, that affects it. But if you're going to shoot less than once a month, we do a pay-as-you-go plan where your first time is $25, okay, then each subsequent time you pay $20, or you can pay $10 to share a lane. Okay, and every time you rent a lane at MD Arsenal, it's unlimited, which means you can shoot for as long as you want. Now, that's within reason, right?
Yeah.
So if it's Saturday or if it was Sunday, like this week, and there are people waiting, then I reserve the right to limit you to half hour. But it's just like King's Dominion, folks. You can ride the ride, and if you want to ride again, you get back in line, we'll let you ride it again.
Right.
Okay, so now Sunday I had one person that I thought was going to have to wait. But once they watched the safety video, once they completed their paperwork, the lane was freed up.
Cleared up.
So the average shooter, I know a few years ago, when we didn't have a huge ammo shortage, the average shooter industry-wide shot about 23 minutes. So it's got to be less than that now. So if you had to wait 15 minutes for a lane, I would be a little surprised. So that's how we do it at MD Arsenal. We also have a nice little package for people that are just visiting from out of town. We get a lot of people, maybe family coming in for Thanksgiving or a holiday or whatever. We offer a 3-day pass for $50, and they can shoot any 3 consecutive days as much as they want. Now, range rental fees the lane fees don't include like rental guns, ammunition, targets, all that stuff. But
so can you bring your own ammo, or you
absolutely
because especially with you guys being short. So when you guys start having no more shortage issues, are you going to change those rules? Or
No. The rules are going to be you bring your own guns, you can bring your own ammo, 100%. I'm not going to make people buy things in my facility because I just don't like that. I think it looks tacky.
Okay.
So we have plenty to offer. I don't need to make people buy ammo to shoot in my range. Now, obviously, you can't shoot any like armor piercing, incendiary, or any kind of explosive.
So what are the limitations on ammo and guns in the range?
So the only limitations on ammo are just what I described. We allow any pistol caliber, okay, rifles up to .308, and shotguns with buckshot or slugs are probably like number 4 shot.
Okay.
Bird shot and out of the shotgun, we have a rubber trap, okay, so it's totally state of the art. It's the best system available. But if you shoot bird shot in the range, they can bounce back on you. The pellets can bounce back on you. So it's a potential safety hazard. So that's why we say buckshot, slugs, like number 4 shot.
Okay. And how far is it the farthest you can shoot out?
We have 7 lanes, 35 feet.
Okay.
So you can certainly shoot your AR-15 in there, or AK-47, whatever you have. It's 35 feet. So it's really a pistol range, but, a lot of guys will do that. So, we're not going to have any restrictions there. Now, some ranges will say you can't shoot any steel-cased ammunition or aluminum-cased ammunition. I don't care about that. You can bring whatever ammo you have, bring it and use it. Okay, so
cool.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think what does that come out to? It's like less than $10 a week if you got the $300 a year.
Yeah, it was my understanding there'd be no math.
Okay, sorry. I have a calculator on my phone.
Right.
Yeah,
so if you're going to shoot,
I was just doing some. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's less than $10 a week.
Oh,
if you're going to come in once a month, it's worth just buying the
Yeah, and
membership.
listen, we're trying to price ourselves competitively because we want customers, and
it was what, like $350 for a couple and $500 for a family, or
300
something?
for an individual, $450 for a couple,
$450, okay.
$500 for a family up to
Okay.
4 people.
Okay.
So it's pretty affordable. And look, and when
And
I
you
look,
got like Smith and Wesson swag right now too, right?
we got some Smith and Wesson swag. So if you
Pretty-
join,
everybody wanted the swag at the open house.
So if you come in, sign up for a range membership, you can pick up a piece of free swag.
Whoop, whoop.
So that's pretty cool. Yep.
Cool. So what about, like, okay, they can bring guns, but do they have to do anything special if they're coming from like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan? Like if they're traveling with their guns, do they have to do anything special?
That's an excellent question. So everyone, there's a lot of misinformation out there about gun laws. Okay, so Maryland's really tough. I get that. But if you're traveling from out of state, you can absolutely 100% bring your firearms legally in the state of Maryland and use my range. Okay, use the range at MD Arsenal. So gun unloaded in a case, I would probably lock it and just travel, and you're
Right.
fine. So, I mean, technically, the rule in Maryland is the gun unloaded in a case or holster. Now, that means zipped or latched shut. So I would say in a cardboard box is probably doesn't meet the legal
Gotcha.
requirement.
Crown Royal bag isn't going to work.
Probably, well, if it's zipped shut, probably, or however you do that. I don't drink Crown Royal, but anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you
no.
travel with the gun unloaded in a case or holster, zipped or latched shut with the ammunition separate, and it should not be within arm's reach. That's the rule in Maryland. And also in Maryland, the second part of the equation is you have to have a reason. You can't just put the gun unloaded in a case or holster with the ammo separate and drive around Hagerstown running errands.
Okay.
That's not good. So, but you're driving to the range, gun unloaded in a case. I would go ahead and lock it, ammunition separate, and you're going to the range. You've met the legal requirement in Maryland. You're good to go. So now when
Just
you,
a random question about that, like carrying a gun. So if I'm going hunting, right, is that a reason to have a gun in my car?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. So there are reasons to have a gun and to be transporting a gun in Maryland.
Okay.
And one would be I'm going hunting.
Right.
I'm going to the range. I'm going to the gunsmith. There are reasons.
Okay.
I'm going to my friend's house to shoot on his farm.
Right.
I'm going to MD Arsenal.
Going
That's
to
the
shoot in
best
my
reason.
gun, or I'm going to
Right.
Maryland Arsenal.
Right. So
Oh, okay. And then, so what if you don't have a gun? Like I only have one gun. I have
Right.
one gun. So if I want to shoot different guns, can I come in there? Do you guys have gun rentals available?
we do not have currently have gun rentals right now. So we're working on that. And the industry is really changed a lot since I worked since a few years ago, just a
Right.
few years ago recently. So back a few years ago, just about every manufacturer, well, not everyone, but a lot of major manufacturers had gun rental programs.
Mm-hmm.
And what they would do is they would work with ranges, and they would Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger,
Right.
they would have a
Test
rental gun
driving 'em.
program,
Yeah.
and they would sell me the guns at a better price, with the understanding that I was going to rent those guns to customers, and I couldn't sell them for like a year. Okay.
Yeah.
But now the only company that's doing that is Glock. So you can't get rental guns from Smith.
Really?
You can't get, and the reason is just because of market
Just
conditions.
shortage?
Because why do they want to they don't have to discount the
Yeah.
gun right now, right?
Right.
So they want to sell it for full price. So we have gun rentals coming in the pipeline. I would say in the next 30 days or so, we should start to see those trickling in.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah.
So right now people can come and use the range, and there's also classes available.
Yep.
So first of all, what are some of the classes, and what's availability for the classes right
Yeah, so we're going to start now. I keep saying I'm going to get a training calendar up. I'm just trying to get into that and get that published. We have a few classes scheduled on our Facebook page. If you go there, we have some events scheduled there. You can go in, you can ask questions, you can call the shop, you can email, you can call me, and we can get you in the class. So we have a wear and carry coming up this weekend, a Maryland wear and carry class. We're going to start running HQLs probably.
So wear and carry is what? What does that cover?
So Maryland wear and carry.
Slow it down a little.
Slow it down
Pump
just a
them
notch.
brakes. Pump them
Pump
brakes.
the brakes. So Maryland wear and
We
carry.
still got like 38 minutes.
Oh, I can do it. I can do it.
No, we're
So-
gonna burn through like our entire business plan. Like,
So Maryland wear and carry. So that's just Maryland's name for a concealed carry permit. Okay. So Maryland does issue a concealed carry permit. It's very challenging to get. If you're a business owner, you've got an excellent chance to get one. If you're not a business owner, it's really challenging. I mean, you almost need to have things like documented threats against your person, arrest reports, things like that. There are some other things like church security teams would be eligible. There are some other areas, but
carry large amounts of money, I think, is one of them, right? or
well,
something.
that would go under the business
Business
owner
owner?
thing.
Okay.
So if that's Maryland's good and substantial. You have
Gotcha.
to meet that criteria. So we have some people. There's quite a few people in Maryland that have wear and carry permits. So and quite a few people that are interested in it. And if you're a business owner,
Yeah.
then come in and talk to me because I can
Yeah.
probably help you through the process. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people get their wear and carry permit in the state of Maryland. So even if you're not a resident of the state of Maryland, if you conduct business in the state and it's cash or check, you have an excellent chance of getting your carry permit. So we're running that class this weekend. The requirement for initial applicants is 16 hours of training. Okay. Fingerprints, application with Maryland State Police. Once you're approved, you're good for 2 years.
So it's a 2-day class?
2-day class.
Okay.
So it's running it this weekend. So the first day we'll have people with their initial application. Then we'll have more students on the second day because we have a lot of people coming in for renewals.
Okay.
So when you renew your permit, you have to get 8 hours of training.
It?
Well, when you're initially approved, you're good for 2 years. Then after that, it's every 3 years right now.
Okay.
So,
that's not too bad.
yeah.
It's not like annually.
So Maryland HQL classes, we're going to start offering those. We just hired another instructor. So we actually hired 2 instructors. We're going to start running those probably next week. Maryland HQL handgun qualification license. It's what you need to possess as a Maryland resident to purchase a handgun. So I get the question a lot, do I need my HQL to shoot in the range? The answer is absolutely not. You only have to possess that if you're going to purchase a handgun or receive a transfer of a handgun. So we're going to offer those classes as well. That's a state-mandated 4-hour minimum class. So, and we're also going to run NRA basic pistol, which is about an 8-hour class, which, listen, if you're...
So basic pistol, what is the difference between that? What is that, just like introduction?
We have a 4-hour class because that's what the law requires. Okay. Now, if you're brand new to guns, I would recommend the 8-hour class because the 4-hour class, there's not enough time to cover everything you need to know, right?
Really?
8-hour class is much more detailed, much more better information, and still satisfies the requirement for Maryland HQL training. So that's what I would recommend personally to brand new folks.
Interesting.
Yeah, you get to shoot more. I mean, it's just a better class.
Joe wanted to know, will you have a membership that includes range access and discount on training and swag, etc.?
Well, Joe's really pushing it here. He's pushing his luck, isn't he? So,
Joe.
Well, what I'm trying to do is, listen, I've done this rodeo before, okay? And the problem before we had all these convoluted discounts and tiers and levels, and nobody understood what we were selling.
Right.
So I'm just trying to keep it simple right now. Now, there will be incentives for people who join, who are range members, okay? First of all, we're not ready to do transfers yet. I'm not really. I can do them. I'm just not going to do them right now because I got too many other things going on. So let's say someone buys a handgun or a rifle online, or they buy it from a private party and they want to have the background check. They want to have it transferred to their name. We're going to eventually do that. What we're going to do is for handguns, we're going to charge $50 for a transfer because there's a lot of work involved in that. And for long guns, we're going to do $35. But if you're a member of the range, it's $40 for a handgun transfer and $25 for a long gun. So we will give you some discounts. Now we're going to start running. I just talked to Ron yesterday, Ron David, Ice Firearms and Defensive Training, and we're going to start running competitive matches here in March, probably in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. And so what I'm probably going to do is we're going to charge a fee, obviously to participate in the match, but we'll give you a slight discount if you're a range member. So there will be incentives for people who are range members. There'll be some discounts.
Cool. Keith wanted to point out that he came late and didn't realize he shot off close to $400 in 9mm ammo because he was having so much fun the other day.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's not hard to do. All right,
Yeah.
It's not hard to do. But listen, I've talked to some other people. I'm going to work. What we're going to do is we're going to, I have a friend of mine, Paul Taylor, who's an excellent shooter. He competes at a very high level. He's got extensive military experience, and he's probably the best shooter I've seen face to face.
Really?
Okay. And we're gonna work, probably have him in there 1 or 2 days a week, and he's gonna give people tips in the range. So you can make your training time
really
more
cool.
effective.
Yeah.
So if you're only got a half hour and you've only got 25 rounds, 50 rounds, then we can show you little things to do to make that more effective. Because that's what you really want to do, right?
Okay.
I mean, if you shot 400 rounds and it was highly effective training, then I'd say that's awesome. There's been a lot of times where I've just gone in there and just started shooting, and I didn't learn anything. So we want to try to help people to be more efficient and effective in the range and get the most out of their time.
Sure.
Since ammo's hard to get.
Yeah. I mean, I can equate that to like hitting golf balls at the golf range.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go in there and hit through a whole bucket of balls and not think about what I'm doing, just hit balls, and then I'm like, I didn't really even work on anything,
Right.
Or I can take my time, take like 3 or 4 practice swings in between each shot, and actually get my muscle memory to do something and learn something from it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about the time we had in the range the other day with Black Rambo. That was pretty crazy. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, Mr. Black Rambo is an interesting character, to say the least, right?
Yeah.
And,
so where does he live?
He lives in Louisiana, so he's he's a YouTube social
He was
media
like saying
sensation.
he hunts and all kinds of stuff.
He's like 500 billion trillion followers or
I don't
something
even
on social
know.
media.
No, he has like 1 million almost on Instagram alone. Yeah,
Yeah, he's pretty
wild.
pretty interesting guy. Really super
was nice. I
super
thought he was
nice
really
individual, classy guy.
My kids really, really wanted to meet him, but I couldn't get him up there that day. But
I got
that
to
was
meet him,
pretty
but
cool.
I was working, so I didn't get to spend a lot of time with Black
I
Rambo.
got to
did
take
get
a few
t-shirt.
selfies and whatever. Oh, you got a T-shirt?
I did
What
get a
the
t-shirt.
heck, man?
Yeah, I know. So
I'll
Dudley got me a
arm wrestle you
t-shirt.
for it.
Right. So, but he was in the range, and so that was kind
That
of
was
cool.
really fun.
The gun he had an Atlas Gunworks 2011 with a red dot optic on it. I mean, probably like an $8,000 gun, and the most expensive red dot
I shot
optic
it.
you can get. It's a phenomenal gun, and I always say that. Listen, we like to. I did it again. Listen,
Listen to me, Linda.
we like to blame the gun when it does. We don't get the results we want, but it's usually not the gun. It's usually the shooter. But so conversely, I would say that the gun doesn't make the shooter, but that gun kind of makes the shooter. I mean, that gun was just
You guys
amazing.
were giving me crap because when I came in the first time and you guys were all shooting guns, I didn't shoot. And then
Right.
he was like, "Oh, do you want to shoot my gun?" I was like, "Yes, please."
Yes, please.
It's gold and shiny and it has like a laser. And like, yeah. I'm down to try that.
Yeah, so it was
really fun,
It was a
yeah.
good time. I mean, we had some friendly competition going in there, and Mr. Dudley shot exceptionally well, which so that gives him instant street credibility, right? So that was good. So yeah, I didn't get really good chance to shoot, but that's okay. I was helping customers. That's my job. So
Yeah, we were having a good time though. I think the grand opening went really well overall though. I think there was a great turnout.
yeah.
You were busy. Every time
yeah.
I saw you, you were just like
running around. Yeah. So yeah, we were really pleased with the turnout. I mean, we're just really, really pleased with the outpouring of support from the community. I mean, people are just excited that the range is open and they can come use it. So that's terrific.
Sure. Is there a minimum on how much ammo per person? Michael Lampkin would like to know.
A minimum on ammo?
Yeah, is there a minimum on how much ammo per person? So I'm guessing like, is there like a minimum on how much shooting you can do if you come in and rent
come
a
in.
spot?
No, I
come
mean,
in
you're
and
paying
take
for the
3
lane.
shots and roll.
You can shoot one shot and run out. That's
Yeah.
fine. There's no minimum, if I understand the question correctly. I mean,
Okay.
and like I said, you can shoot for as long as you want. So, there's, like we talked, there's a shortage on ammunition, but you can come in there, you can shoot for a little bit of time, make your training really effective, make your experience really effective, and do a lot of, make a lot of progress in what you're doing. It's interesting though, the one shot thing. So the Maryland HQL, the requirement for Maryland HQL handgun qualification license is a 4-hour course.
Okay.
Fingerprints, electronic fingerprints, and application with Maryland State Police. So back in 2013, when they were passing this law, we went down and testified against it. And sometimes in the gun community, we're our own worst enemy. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because there was no live fire requirement in the beginning. And then somebody on the pro gun side who probably thought he was doing the right thing got up there and said, "Listen, I'm retired. I've got money. I've got time. If you make us take a class to exercise our Second Amendment rights by buying a handgun in the state of Maryland, I'm going to offer the class for free in every public library in the state of Maryland until the day I die." Something to that effect, right? So they said, okay, live fire requirement. So they eliminated that guy. So if he wouldn't have said that, we probably wouldn't have the live fire requirement. And the live fire requirement for a Maryland HQO is silly. You know how many rounds you have to fire down range? 1.
I was going to say, so what does a class consist of? Like,
So-
it's mostly classroom and then
It's mostly
just
classroom.
a little bit of range?
A little bit of
Do you-
range time. So mostly classroom. It goes over basic fundamentals of handgun safety, fundamentals of shooting, Maryland law, which is a big part of it because that's what will get you in trouble most quickly. And then there's the live fire component. So once you fire one round down range, you have passed the class. It doesn't even matter if you hit the target. Literally, it's not
Just have
graded.
to
There's
be
no
able
test.
to fire a firearm successfully.
I always
basically.
joke, you don't shoot anybody else or yourself, you pass. I mean, that's essentially what the Maryland threshold is. Now, at the Arsenal, we're not going to say, oh, 1 round and you've passed. We're going to shoot, 20, 25 rounds, and we're going to make you reload, okay? Because that's an important skill to have.
Yeah.
You're using a handgun.
Seems
So
more
you
sensible.
gain nothing when you fire one shot. You gain nothing. So,
Yeah, you should have to like clean it and like do
Well,
stuff with it. And
yeah, I mean,
whatever.
yeah.
Probably.
And there's not enough time in a 4-hour class to go through and clean guns. But,
What I mean, that would be more useful.
That'd be much more practical. So,
I mean, that's what you need to be able to do to
Right.
successfully, safely fire a gun is continue maintaining it, and knowing how to take care of it is
Right.
a big part of it. So do you guys teach stuff like that there? If somebody buys a firearm, will you help them know how to maintain their gun?
Oh,
and
absolutely. So I
everything?
have, I had a couple of customers that took a recent HQL with me. They reached out yesterday and said, hey, we just picked up a couple of handguns. We want to come in and shoot Saturday. Would you be willing to sit down with us for 15, 20 minutes, half hour, and show us how to clean and maintain our firearm? Absolutely.
That's cool.
We're happy to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to let them come in a half hour before we open, so we don't have a lot of customers in the store, and just give them a little time. So
That's great.
happy to work with people on those types of things. We want everybody to be safe and effective with their
Good.
handguns.
Yeah, it's important. So speaking of safe, and you mentioned talking to a lady about a program that's, basically related to mental health
Yeah,
in
so-
the firearms industry.
So this is really interesting. I got a phone call from, and I'm not gonna. It's probably a little premature to be talking about this,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I'm,
it's just
I'm
a
just,
cool
I'm
topic.
just so excited
yeah,
about it.
it's a cool topic. I like it.
So I was reached out to yesterday by a local mental health professional, and this young lady is pretty. She's like a real go-getter. Sounds like. I haven't met her yet. We talked quite extensively on the phone yesterday. And you get a phone call from somebody that says, I'm in the mental health profession and I'm in a gun store, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, where's this going to go?
Yeah.
But what they're doing is there are a lot of things in the gun industry that we could probably all agree on, whether you or outside the gun industry. As Americans, we could probably all agree on. One of them will be that whether you love guns or hate them, or you're completely indifferent, if I own a gun, we would probably all agree I should probably have some training, just basic knowledge of safe use and handling. That's one. Number two, wherever you are on the spectrum, if someone's having mental health issues, we would probably all agree, right, that they shouldn't have access to a firearm.
Yeah.
That's a bad deal,
Right.
right? And what we have in this country right now is trying to reconcile that with privacy, correct? So how do we keep guns out of the hands of people who have mental health issues, who need treatment, who need help,
Yeah.
and not violate their privacy, not violate HIPAA? So she reached out to me and said, it's just really cool. So she wrote her own grant, and she got the money to do this study and marketing campaign where she's going to partner with gun stores in every county in the state of Maryland. And what we're going to do, looks like it's going to work out pretty well, is that if you have a family member or someone that's suffering from a mental health issue, a loved one, and you want a safe place to store your firearms until that is resolved, we're going to offer that service to people.
Really?
We're going to offer that
Like
service
storage.
to people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then when that's resolved, you come back in, you pick your guns up, we're good to go. Now we have to work out all the details on that, how that looks like,
Do you have to have lockers or something?
Well, we
or-
have safe storage in the building. I mean, the building's secure. We have places, we have safes, we have places to store the firearms. They'll be perfectly fine. And this kind of dovetails nicely. Probably a lot of people in the gun community now are listening to me talk and thinking, "Oh, wow, where's this going?"
Yeah.
But think of it in this: if you're a gun owner and you're a pro-gun person like me, think about it this way. We have red flag laws in the state of Maryland, right? So this will be a way to avoid having law enforcement have to show up at your place and take your guns, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I think law enforcement, from what I'm understanding so far, is really supportive of the whole idea.
Right.
Like, if you're a police officer, probably one of the worst jobs you could have to do is go someplace and pick up a firearm.
Remove a gun.
That's just
Yeah, it's
that's just
scary.
there's a lot of problems there, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna work with this young lady, and we're going to try to provide a solution for people that we want everybody to be safe.
Yeah,
we want everybody to be
sure.
safe. So.
Well, that's going to help us, keep our constitutional rights in place.
Well,
the
yeah.
less accidents, the less, murders.
And we can talk
accidental,
about
whatever,
how the unconstitutionality of red flag laws. That's probably a different podcast, right? But listen, like I said, we probably all agree that if someone has a mental health issue, if there's a crisis there, they need help, they need treatment, and we just need to try to keep everybody safe and try to help people. So.
And I mean, unfortunately, right now, a lot of mental health statistics are on the rise because of COVID and because of
people
all
are
the
cooped
stuff
up.
going on. And
You can't get out.
yeah, so I mean, it's a good time to support that in
Right.
general because it's just a problem that. I mean, we were talking about it on my other podcast. We were talking about the Mental Health Association and how there's, a huge need for volunteers and all kinds of stuff. So,
Right,
it's
right.
good. It's good. That's good. It's a good
Right
way
on.
to support the community.
Yeah,
I like that. Good for you.
Well, I just when she called me up and we started talking, I thought this really sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So, listen, I've had family members. There was a family member at one point, teenage boy in high school, going through some stuff because he's a teenager, and had a girlfriend break up with him suddenly, and then she got involved in some stuff, and then she's calling him for help, and you know, we removed the firearms from the house. I mean, you know, for a period of time, and just to make sure that everyone's cool. So,
Doesn't hurt. Be safe.
Yeah.
I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's not a toy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great way, like I said, to support the community. And,
Absolutely.
So speaking of community, we were featured on the news yesterday.
That's
the
right.
Local news. How did that go?
Oh, it was terrific. I mean, anytime you get some exposure, I mean, I just wanted to say my name correctly and spell the name of the facility correctly, right? So once they do all that, it's all icing on the cake. But I did figure out after watching that interview
That you say listen a lot.
I say listen a lot. And I got to stop doing that. But you know, I was a little bit nervous, but it's all right. So
I think
you know,
you did a great job.
WUSA CBS affiliate in Washington D.C. Nice little. They gave us a lot of time, so I was really impressed with that. Dudley, the owner, got to speak. I got to speak. They asked some questions. We talked about, you know, women in the firearms community and a few different things. That interview is available on our Facebook page if you want to go check it out. So, you know, it's just generating a little bit of buzz about the business. So I'm pretty pleased with that, you know.
And I'm really glad because, I mean, as your marketing manager,
that's right.
I really support you finding creative ways to connect with the community.
Right,
It's
to get your
very
name out there.
exciting,
Correct.
And I think you did a great job. And my kids were excited because they were in the video too.
That's right.
So
That's
they were
cool.
like, I showed them and they were like, oh my gosh, we're on TV.
Well,
I'm
the
like,
one
yeah, look at
picture
that.
you took of them is, it's just awesome. I mean, it's a terrific picture. I think when your daughter's holding a training firearm and your son's watching, terrific picture,
Yeah, they loved being in there. I
You
mean,
could
I
just
would
see-
encourage anyone with kids to go in there and just check it out. Even if you just go check it out, it's such a cool, like, just to see the space and the way it's set up. It's different than a lot of ranges that you see. Even, I mean, most of the ones I've seen are on TV. Just to be honest, like indoor ranges.
Yep.
Like, but there's not the glass there, and I
Right.
like there's the glass window. You can like see right into the range. So even
Yep.
if you're not in the range, you can sit and watch people. And, you know, just check it out. It's really just cool.
I've
for
been to a
kid.
few ranges across the country. It's the only range I've ever been in where you can actually walk in and watch people shoot without having to go into the range. So, you know, just so everyone knows, it's level 3 ballistic glass. Okay, so you're safe, right? But it's great.
I mean, it's a state of the art. It's neat just to see it. The way it's all automated, so you can tell it how far you want, you know, the target to go out. Push the button, it takes it out there. You want to bring it back in, you push the button, it brings it back to you. So I was super impressed. And then when you start explaining like the way it's set up and the ventilation system, so the air goes through there, so it's safe to be in there, you know, especially right now with COVID, people are nervous about that. The air in there circulates, super fast,
like
right?
the air in the whole range is completely new, like every 60 seconds. Like at less than 60 seconds, it's all new air in there. The air leaving the building is cleaner than the air coming in off the street. So,
And it's like UV filtered.
well, it's
What is it?
HEPA filters.
HEPA filter.
Yep,
Okay.
HEPA filters. And
Yeah.
you mentioned children, so I get the question a lot. Well, I have a child. Can they come in and shoot? So we allow 13 and up. So age 13 and up with a parent or guardian, they can certainly use the range. No problem at all. So,
That's cool.
yeah, and the process to joining the range, or you know, some people get hung up on the idea of a range membership, but it's just a way for me. Membership is a way for me to track who has signed the liability waiver and watch the safety orientation video. Sure. So I mean, it's a very simple process. You fill out the waiver; that'll take you 2 minutes, 1 minute, and the safety video is 8 minutes long. So with about 10 minutes, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
So you don't have to watch the safety video every time you come in; just once a year
Okay.
when you sign up.
Yeah, and I saw like you got the TVs out there, you got those
Customer
comfy
lounge.
chairs in the lounge.
Right.
Yeah, so people are asking a couple more questions. Will you be offering firearm storage in general? Could someone leave their firearms with MD Arsenal if they were going on vacation or military deployment? That's a
Right.
great question.
Yeah, we absolutely will be offering that. So now there's a few things, you know, that we have to look at there. So if you leave a gun with me, generally speaking, you're going to have to do a background to pick it back up, a background check to pick it back
Okay.
up. So as long as you're comfortable with that, then that's the legal
That's a good
legal
question.
threshold. So I mean, to me, it's kind of silly that you have to do a background check to pick up your own gun, but that's the way the laws are in this country. So
Well, you never know what happened while they were gone.
well, I mean, it's still your gun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
That was a question from Joel Jordan, by the way. So thanks,
so-
Joel, for
Yep, Spanky,
watching.
he can hit me up and ask me that question.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
we're going to
Aaron-
offer that service.
Aaron said yes to discussing mental health. Thank you, Aaron. We are excited to, you know, like I said, I mean, I think it's great. It's great community outreach.
Right,
So
right.
love that. And I think we're looking for other, ways to reach out to the community too. So I know you guys are teaming up with, been going eating lunch at a few restaurants, got some donuts from Crumpy's, finding ways to get connected with the local community. So, we're always open to ideas, suggestions, if anybody's interested in bringing in, doing like corporate retreat or bringing their employees in for, time in the range for a little getaway, stuff like that. Do you guys have private range time where they can reserve
We're
it?
gonna offer private events. We're gonna offer, if folks want to have a bachelor party, bachelorette party, team building events, we're gonna do all those things. And what we'll do is we'll schedule those at a time during off hours or before we open in the morning, and you can come in and we'll be happy to do that. I mean, it's really if you have a team that you work with, if you have a group of employees, small business, whatever, it's a unique opportunity. It's really a cool thing to do.
I could see it being really fun.
Yeah,
totally.
It's
just how comfortable, like after just a few minutes, how comfortable my kids were with you and Ron David in there, total strangers. It's kind of like a bonding thing.
It absolutely
totally
is.
A bonding thing.
So we've done a lot of those in the past. We have a training room. We can bring in food. We can, use the range. It's all climate control. It's terrific controlled environment. So that's
nice
we're gonna
big space.
We're gonna start rolling this stuff out gradually as we build more.
Do you have any pricing or anything on that yet, or not?
How much do you have? How much do you have? No, we'll get some pricing set up for that. We're gonna make it affordable for everybody.
I was just curious if you knew, but. All right. Well, I mean, the other things I was wondering about are, what's coming up next? What are the next big steps? Where are we at with our Maryland Arsenal Challenge right now? Do you know?
So Maryland Arsenal Challenge, we probably jumped ahead of the curve a little bit there.
Yeah.
But we're waiting on targets. Targets should be here in the next day or so.
Okay.
Once we have the targets, we're just going to start pushing that really hard.
Okay.
We have inventory coming in every day. Okay. So yesterday was a snow day. Unfortunately, we're closed. And, I know in the afternoon the roads were clear, but I got employees that have to drive 30, 40 minutes to get there, and I didn't want to put them on the road. Right.
And not everybody's roads were cleared. Mine didn't get cleared. I live in downtown Frederick, and we didn't get a truck to go through until like 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Yesterday. It was pretty bad.
I went into the Arsenal yesterday so I could receive the packages. So we're getting guns in every day. We're getting ammo. We're getting a lot of accessories. Have a lot of stuff coming in this week. So we're going to gradually build that inventory, get the course calendar out, start promoting that. Just want to encourage everyone to go to our Facebook page, click on the sign up here button at the top of the page or on the banner there, and they can sign up for our email list. That's mainly how we're going to communicate with our customers as far as new inventory goes. Facebook,
and social media too. Right?
Social media is, if I put a lot of guns on Facebook, it's going to be, they're going to shut me down.
YouTube, we can do our updates weekly on YouTube, and like you're saying, join the mailing list.
Right, email list is going to be terrific.
Yeah.
So I would encourage people to sign up there because I can send out. Listen, we have 10 handguns.
Is it on the website? Then they can go there to subscribe on there.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
MDArsenal.com.
MDArsenal.com.
All right.
Right. Yep.
MDArsenal.com. Subscribe to the mailing list. Get in there so you can see what's going on. Stay in touch about classes and inventory. Right.
Yep.
We will be posting our class schedules on the Facebook page. So if you want to, look at what's coming up, we'll try to get a schedule put together soon. And start posting those so people can start registering in advance.
Right, exactly.
And then hours. What are our hours right now?
So we're 10 to 8 during the week, 10 to 7 on weekends. So we're there 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And listen, whenever we started this, we're trying to decide how to be open. I know what the facility was open before, what the hours were before, and I thought, maybe 8 o'clock is a little too late, But I tell you what, just about every day this week we had shooters right until we closed. So that's awesome. So
it gives people have to work.
Well, yeah, you get off work at 5 o'clock. You get home, you grab some dinner at 6:30, and you can still make it over there and shoot
right.
for a half
Well, you got
hour,
a lot
45.
of people that work in D.C., work in Montgomery County, and they got to commute back up to Hagerstown, so that gives you another hour after work. So,
Yeah, because most people aren't taking their guns to work with them. They can't come straight to the arsenal. They have to go home, right?
Yeah. So, well, I think, unless anybody else has any other questions or anything else you want to talk about today?
Can I tell you a quick story?
Oh, please. Please do. Tell everyone. Wait, tell everyone, Mike.
So Jay at Venue Media has a terrific facility here. It's awesome. It's right downtown. And when you pull in the back parking lot, on the right-hand side as you're pulling in off the dual highway, that's where Maryland State Police used to be, right?
Okay.
So I'm old when I'm 52, so that's where I took my driving test, right? So you look over there on the parking lot on the right-hand side, and you can see the kind of the barriers there and stuff where the driving course was. So So if I have any friends listening now that I graduated with, they're going to laugh because.
What class was that?
Well, I graduated in 86.
86.
Hancock High School. So
Okay.
whenever I took my test, I think I failed my driving test like 3 times. I mean, it was like a running joke in Hancock for years. I mean, so, and I just, I don't know why I couldn't pass the test. I think
I
I'm
hit
a pretty
one
good
cone. I did.
Oh, I was terrible. I think I failed the written test like twice. I mean, it was so funny when I finally passed my driving test. They announced it on the PA system in the school in the morning announcements. So, I mean, but
Finally did it.
yeah, it's so funny. I mean, yeah. Anyway, it was so every time I go by there, I'm kind of like it's like PTSD, right? So I start to have these flashbacks of sitting in a car with the state trooper, and he's just like glaring at me, like, "What are you doing? Do you even know how to drive?" That kind of thing.
Jeez.
So anyway.
Well, speaking of police,
Right.
real quick, let me just plug my event that's coming up because
Oh,
you guys are
absolutely.
the title sponsor for that event, and I'm really grateful for that too. So March 4th through the 7th, we have Virtual Outdoor Expo coming up. Maryland Arsenal is the title sponsor, and it's a great event. It's 4 days live where you can come interact with celebrities from the outdoor industry. You can go to booths and save money on products, merchandise, things that you would buy anyways for hunting, and you can get them at like show expo prices basically. The $12 for a ticket. It's only $12, and all of the $12 goes to supporting first responders and veterans to get them out hunting through the Dark Horse Project, which is really cool. And then the other half of the money is going to Battle 22, which is preventing suicide in veterans. So supporting, just an outreach program. And I'm really passionate about what we're doing with the event. There's going to be live music. There's going to be opportunities to have fun, interact with other hunters, other outdoors people, and there's going to be people there from everything from real estate people to talk about log cabins, RVs, archery stuff, firearm stuff. So I'm really excited, and I'm really grateful for just how well it's come together.
Well, I think it's a tremendous idea. It's a very, very cool idea because all the gun shows are canceled. I mean,
Yeah,
SHOT Show,
everything's
all the
canceled.
dealer shows, everything's canceled. We don't, maybe there'll be a SHOT Show next year. So you've really filled that void.
Yeah.
Right? You've really
well,
filled that void.
I mean, the NRA show, the Great American Outdoor Show up in Harrisburg, I used to go to that every year.
Yep.
I was there every year for archery stuff. I worked for Parker Boats for a while, worked for Heated Hunts, Interlock Broadheads. I used to go and represent people at their booths. And, now it's like none of that, none of those opportunities. So, I think the virtual idea, I know it's not as much fun. It's not what I would ideally want to do, honestly. I would much rather be live with people. Who wouldn't want to? Who wouldn't want to see a live musical performance from the Amish Outlaws versus watching it on camera? But, right now, I'm just trying to make the most of it, trying to do something to keep the industry going because, the industries are hurting just as bad as everything else in the outdoor industry. As much as firearms and guns and ammo and everything are sold out, it's hard for them to get the materials to make the stuff too. I mean, it's a supply and demand thing in the archery world. They're saying it's hard to get a hold of materials to make broadheads, to make bows. Everything's kind of backed up. So there's a lot of ways that this is helping the industry that I care about, and also just having some fun. Why not?
Right,
There's
exactly.
not a lot of fun things going on, and this is going to be pretty fun. So if you're in the Hagerstown area, we're going to have like a happy hour thing, VIP thing over at Benny's Pub right here in Hagerstown on Friday. Shane Gamble will be performing live from 5 to 7. So live country music, he's going to do some cover songs. It could be a good time. Raise some money for veterans. Let's do some good.
Right on.
All right, we can get your tickets, virtualoutdoorexpo2021.com. So, I think that it's going to be fun. Check it out.
So I just thought of something that I kind of want to go over quickly is that, I get a lot of comments from people because there's, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of misinformation out there about the gun laws in Maryland, okay? Whenever I wrote curriculums for classes, years ago after the law changed, I was pretty, I wanted to do it the right way, okay? So I went, I actually, the place I worked before, we got a lawyer to come in, help us write the PowerPoint presentation curriculum for our Maryland law portion of our classes. And so I get this question a lot. Well, can I travel with loaded magazines in Maryland? And everybody thinks you cannot travel with loaded magazines. Now, you absolutely can travel with loaded magazines in Maryland. You can't have a loaded gun, but you can 100% travel with a loaded
So the
magazine.
magazine isn't considered loaded
Well,
on a gun.
Right, exactly. So if it's in the gun.
magazine.
Now, if I would say, do I recommend it? No, I don't recommend it. I think it's not a good idea, right? I would not travel with loaded magazines unless I had a wear and carry permit. Because if I have an unloaded firearm right here on the table and a loaded magazine beside it, that's a loaded gun for all intents and purposes, right? So yes, you can travel with loaded magazines. I wouldn't recommend it. When you come to the arsenal, the gun needs to be unloaded in a case.
Okay.
Case or a case. And cased means zipped or latched shut.
Not holstered.
Right. Well, I prefer not to have it in a holster,
But I know people were asking, like, can they shoot from their holster in the range?
Oh, absolutely. So
Like, they
we're
can come
absolutely
in.
going to allow people to draw from the holster in the range. So there'll be a brief safety orientation with that. I'm not charging you money for it.
Okay.
I can make you take a class. I'm just going to make sure that everyone's safe on the range. You can absolutely practice drawing from the holster. That's a very important skill to have if you're going to carry a firearm every day. Again, when you bring your gun to the arsenal, unload it in a case or in a case. Cased means zipped or latched shut.
Okay.
If you don't have a case, then call me.
Yeah.
And I will bring you a case, right? Now, in Maryland, if you're traveling with a firearm, it needs to be cased, right?
So you should have a case anyways.
Yeah,
but you guys sell cases.
we sell cases.
I saw lots of cases.
There
in
you go.
there.
So
Yeah.
listen, I'm not trying to sell you a case, but if you don't have one, then I'll case. I'll bring it out to you. You can case your firearm and bring it in. I just can't have people walking in the store with guns in their hands.
Yeah.
That sounds like a bad idea to me. So
With masks on.
with masks on, exactly. So we don't want to do that. So when in doubt, ask questions. We don't have a lot of nitpicky range rules. We just want everybody to be safe.
What are the basic range rules? I know.
Well, eye
protection, ear
so
protection.
do you know what the 3 rules of firearm safety are?
Tell me.
Okay. The
Tell,
first one is always
tell everyone, Mike.
the first rule is always keep your gun pointed in safe direction. Second rule is always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Number 3 is always keep the gun unloaded until you're ready to use it. And number 4 would be know what your target is and what is beyond. So if you follow those things, then you've got 99% of it down. We have people bringing in multiple guns. That's terrific. What I have to do, I have to remind people occasionally that you have to uncase the gun in your lane, right? Because if you're taking the gun out of the case and you're not in your lane, you could
Pointing it
potentially be
around.
flagging somebody with the barrel of your gun, which is a bad thing. So uncase the gun in your lane with the barrel pointed down range. So what I do is if I'm shooting a handgun, I don't necessarily know how the gun is oriented inside the case. So I'll set the case down, open it up partially, and look in and see which way that barrel is pointing. Then I'll turn it. So when I open it up and take that gun out, it's pointed down range. So just to focus on safety all the times.
Just habit, right? Like
Yeah.
practicing safe habits and
We allow people to take photographs in the range as long as they're being safe, right? And they're following the 3 rules of gun safety. So I just can't have people waving guns around, taking selfies and stuff. I mean, that's bad. That's a bad look. But I've never had that issue.
Yeah.
People are smart. People get it. So I mean, an occasional reminder once in a while. But like I said, you can
no
bring your own
food in the
guns.
firearms in the range.
Sorry,
no
no
food
food
or
or
drink.
drink in the range. That's a health concern
Right.
because listen, our range is state of the art. With the ventilation system, you're exposed to lead, dust, or chemicals very briefly on the firing line. It's very safe. It's very clean. But you cannot have food or drink in there because there's always a chance you'll have some kind of lead contamination.
ingesting that
and you're ingesting it. You should really avoid touching your face a lot when you're in the range. And when you're done shooting, go wash your hands with cold water. We have D-lead soap in the bathroom, which gets the particles off your hands so you don't contaminate yourself or somebody else. Lead poisoning is not a huge issue for adults, but for children it can be a major problem.
Okay.
So we want to make sure everybody's clean and safe. If you shoot for a long period of time, then I recommend you go home and change your clothes.
Yeah.
Right? Change your clothes. Put those in the washer, get them clean. Don't take any chances of cross contamination.
Good information.
And everyone's concerned about COVID. So we have a policy at the Arsenal that our employees are masked up. Employees mask up. We ask customers to wear masks and practice social distancing. I'm not fighting anybody over masks. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. If you don't wear a mask, I'm going to respectfully assume that you have a medical condition that prohibits you wearing the mask, and that's the end of it. Okay. If you were to catch anything in the range, including COVID, it would be a miracle.
Yeah.
Because the ventilation system is so
ventilation's like-
intense.
yeah.
I mean,
You
if you
can,
were to sneeze, it would be downrange quicker than you could recover. I mean, so if you were to catch something in the range, it's a miracle. Go buy a lottery ticket. That's your lucky day. So, all right.
So one more question I was asking is, where are you? I know that it's kind of like what everybody's been asking is how much ammo do you have right now? Do you have any ammo right now? Do you have any guns right now?
I have some guns in stock, a handful of guns. I got a little bit of ammo. So that changes on a day-to-day basis. So
Right.
I can't say,
But there's some stuff. I mean,
if
it's
I
not
had,
like there's nothing.
I don't have any 9mm right now. I have some 5.56 and 223 ammo. If I had 20 boxes of 9mm, I probably couldn't even say it on the air because
It'd be gone before we got
it'd be
there.
gone before I walk out the door here.
Right.
So
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just that's. I mean, we had some 9mm ammunition for opening day, and literally people were lined up an hour before we opened. I mean,
Right.
they almost beat me there, right? And they were just waiting to buy there. And we had to limit it to 1 box per customer, just to try to be fair to everybody. And some of the folks waiting in line didn't even get ammo because there were too many people there.
Yeah.
So that's what we're up against. Unfortunately, that's just how we're at right. That's
We'll get
where
there.
we're at right now.
We'll get there.
So,
Yeah. So I think, we should take 1 minute just here to thank everybody. Thanks for following us. Thanks
Right
for
on.
subscribing. Thanks for joining our newsletter, mailing list. Thanks for
Right.
coming to the grand opening. Thanks to Planet Fitness for sending some people over for the grand opening to give out free membership passes to check out their gym. Thanks to the guys that do the coating on the guns. What's that?
Oh yeah, it was Joey with Pro Coat.
Pro Coat. That's right.
Cerakoting. So
Yeah,
we're going
that
to
was
partner
pretty
with.
cool.
We're not going to do Cerakoting at the Arsenal. We're going to partner with him. If folks want to get guns Cerakoted, we're going to work with him to get that work done. So it's a great. You can't. Guns are not available. It's hard to get guns. So what you can do is you can customize what you have, which I
Right.
think is really cool.
Yeah.
Right. Take
Have
the
fun
money you
with
would
it.
have spent on a new gun that you can't get anyway, and invest that in a firearm you have. Maybe new night sights, maybe a red dot. Cerakoting, maybe stippling on the grip. I mean, all those things.
Maybe
you
a
can
range
enhance.
membership.
Maybe a range membership so you can practice when you have some ammo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's when ammo was plentiful, when you could get it anywhere, we would tell people rimfire ammo is a really excellent way to train because it's low noise, low recoil. It's excellent for new shooters. And once we get back to that, there's no shame in that. I mean, you want to be a big tough guy and shoot a big gun. I get it, but there's certainly value in any shooting, right?
Yeah.
Any practice.
Anything right now. Yeah. Thanks to Black Rambo.
Oh, yeah,
for
terrific.
coming
Yeah,
out.
that
Thank
was
you so
awesome.
much.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jay and the team here for
Right.
coming out from venue to go live on site. So that
Yeah,
was
that's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
And thanks to everybody for coming out. So
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in again this week. We'll be back. Stay tuned and check our Facebook page for our upcoming schedule of events and podcasts and everything. So,
All right.
all right. Thanks,
Right.
Mike.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thanks,
All
Jay.
right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to the MD Arsenal podcast. We are live on Facebook and YouTube from 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern Time every Tuesday morning. Please tune in now to ask questions and interact with us live. Hosted by Mike, Caroline, and Dudley, and brought to you by MD Arsenal, located at 19828 National Pike in Hagerstown, Maryland, your premier firearms retail store, indoor shooting range, and trading facility. Maryland Arsenal is your newest premier gun range. Located conveniently off I-70 in Hagerstown, Maryland, with a 7-lane, state-of-the-art, fully automated targeting system.
Definitely not.
Right there, bullseye. Offering retail firearms, hunting, tactical gear, and more. Our 40-student training center will be offering classes and certifications. Contact us today, info@mdarsenal.com, or visit us on the web at mdarsenal.com.